Here's the thing that no one wants to tell you. Almost every woman has faked an orgasm from time to time.
By the way, I faked every orgasm.
And if we have all done it, then it stands to reason that all men have been on the receiving end of a performance. But it doesn't have to be like this. Today, I'm going to talk about a topic that a lot of men think they understand, but often get wrong. And that is how to tell if she's faking an orgasm. And more importantly, what to do about it. Before we dive in, let's get one thing straight. If a woman fakes an orgasm with you, it's not necessarily because you're bad in bed. I mean, it's not your fault. There are lots of reasons why women fake orgasms, from wanting to protect their partner's ego to just wanting to wrap things up and go to bed because she doesn't think it's gonna happen tonight. More often than not though, the reason she's faking it has more to do with her than it has to do with you or your performance. I mean, the truth is that many women struggle to reach orgasm during penetration. Some are too in our heads to fully let go. Some of us are harboring mental stresses from the day or emotional blocks that get in the way. And some of us just don't really know what our bodies need to actually get there with a partner. Faking an orgasm can happen for so many different reasons, and the chances are that she's probably pretty sensitive and even embarrassed about it herself. And that's why what I'm about to share with you is so important. If you want to be the kind of lover who gives her orgasms so real, so fantastic, so often that she never has to fake one, then it's time to learn how to spot the signs, address the issues, and create an experience where she doesn't even think about pretending. First things first, let's go over how to tell if your partner is faking an orgasm. Some women out there are really good at pretending, so some of these clues aren't as obvious as you might think. Also, if she is just showing one of the 5 signs that I'm about to share with you, that doesn't necessarily mean much. So pay really close attention to this list so that you're ready to spot any and or all of these signs from her in bed. Let's start with number 5, too predictable. If she always orgasms in the exact same way at the exact same time with the exact same moans, that is a sign that she may be faking it. Real orgasms can be very unpredictable. They can arise at different times, at different speeds, and different intensities, and they're usually a lot messier than the kinds of performances that you see in porn. Now, it is important to note that many women, including myself, do have certain positions where we can orgasm more easily. Some consistency is absolutely to be expected. But if it always takes the exact same amount of time, or if it feels like the orgasm itself is always exactly the same, a little bit more like a rehearsed performance, well, chances could be that it's not real. Which brings me to sign number 4, her body doesn't match her sounds. A real orgasm isn't just an oral, moaning, breathy experience, it is a full body experience. And when a woman really, truly climaxes, there are lots of things that happen in her overall physiology. Maybe she's moaning a lot, but her body is really, really still and relaxed. That may be a clear sign that her vocal performance isn't matching what's actually going on between her legs. There are a lot more subtle things to look out for if you're not sure. Like, most women begin to deepen their breathing immediately after an orgasm, while their body takes a minute to return back to baseline. Many of us experience some skin flush. Our chest or our face becomes red or splotchy. She may experience a general hypersensitivity to touch, especially on her clitoris, in and on her vagina, but perhaps all over her entire body. Lastly, and this is a really great sign to look for, her body might contract. At the end of the day, that's what an orgasm is. It's a pleasurable release of the buildup of tension, usually signified by a series of involuntary muscle contractions. All that means is that your muscles do this without you telling them to. A great question for you as her guy is, can you feel or even see those contractions? What about the rest of her body? Are there small, like, involuntary twitches post-orgasm? Not every single orgasm will have these. That's why this list is so nuanced, right? Because orgasms are distinct and different, and we all experience them kind of differently. But if at no point any of these contractions are happening, whether inside of her vagina or in her chest or anywhere on her body, that's something that lets you know it might be worth looking into. Which brings me to number 3, over-the-top moaning. Yes, some women are more expressive than others during sex. But if her reactions sound a little too dramatic, a little too porny, straight out of Harry Met Sally, it might be because she's performing instead of experiencing actual pleasure. Real orgasms, if we are expressing them, and I do mean expressing, right? Like the sound that comes from orgasms, which, by the way, side note, I made a whole video on why women make sounds during sex. It's called female copulatory vocalization, and it actually evolved into us, but that's that is literally the subject of another video. Real orgasms will sound a little different every time because we are expressing something that is happening, some energetic release as well as the physical release that's happening within us. Some are going to be moany, some are going to be kind of guttural, some are going to be squeaky, some are even going to sound like she might be in pain, like ow, ow, ow. I used to get that from lovers all the time, like in my 20s. Apparently the moans that I was making sounded like I was in pain because multiple times in my early 20s, someone stopped having sex with me while I was mid-orgasm and was like, are you okay? Are you hurting? So I had to learn how to express a little differently. Anyway, sometimes we're louder, sometimes we're quiet, sometimes we're just straight up silent, sometimes we're just breathing heavy, sometimes we're not breathing at all. Not every single orgasm is going to be loud and big and performative and porny. Some consistency to be expected there. We all have our thing, but like I said before, every orgasm is different. And if you really think about it, does her moaning sound natural? Does it vary a bit from sound to sound, session to session? Or does it sound like a pre-recorded audio from an adult video? Now, the second to last sign is something that all orgasms have in common, and that is buildup, which brings me to number 2. She goes from 0 to 100. When any of us reach orgasm, but especially women, it never just happens completely out of nowhere. Ahead of the orgasm, there will be some kind of a buildup in intensity. And I want to note that might not just be physical intensity, that could also be like emotional, mental intensity. But regardless, there's a buildup. And when she gets to the edge, the precipice, the like, this orgasm is probably going to happen, she will likely need to stay in the zone leading up to that moment. Typically, women need some kind of consistency in rhythm and in pace to get them over the edge when they're close. She will need you to stay in that sweet spot, doing what you're doing with what's working for her, and she'll need that to be pretty consistent in order for her to reach climax. I made a whole video about this. One of the biggest mistakes that men make in bed is changing their technique when she gets close to orgasm. Usually she just needs you to be consistent. This buildup, of course, happens over the entirety of your sexual experience. It might start at dinner for when foreplay and teasing and touching kind of begins, but it's gonna definitely ramp up during physical touch, oral sex, manual sex, intercourse, etc. And then there's going to be, usually for most women, most of the time, like a 30 to 60 second period where she's going to feel that she's getting close and she's going to feel like she's about to come before she actually has that release. And if she's just kind of feels like she's suddenly warmed up and she suddenly orgasms out of nowhere, that might be a sign that she is faking it. Here is my number 1 sign that she may be faking her orgasms, is she never initiates, gives feedback, or asks for what she wants. If she never ever asks you for anything, tells you to change something, or gives you any sort of constructive feedback, that's not the sign that you are a great lover. That's the sign that she's not giving you the kind of information that would make this a great experience for her. I mean, look, you could be the best lover in the whole world, but no man is a mind reader, certainly not in a long-term relationship. If she never guides you or takes control of her own pleasure, then she might not be engaged as you think. And look, this could be verbal, but it also could be her like moving your hips. A woman who knows that she is about to orgasm will often move toward what feels good, not just passively wait for it to happen. I mean, our bodies will do this naturally. We'll grip, we'll pull, but we also might tell you to keep doing exactly what you're doing. She may tell you to go harder or faster or to slow down or to go deeper. If she feels the real thing coming on, she's likely to make sure that she gets all the way there. And if you always seem to know exactly what to do without any sort of guidance or feedback whatsoever, it's time for you to go ahead and set that good feeling of, oh my God, I'm just amazing at this and I just get it right every single time aside and consider taking a second look. Let's say you've noticed some of these signs. What do you do about it? Let's talk about how to turn fake orgasms into real ones. Step number 1, do not call her out. Instead, create a safe space. The worst thing that you can do in this situation is just outright accuse her of faking. That is going to make her defensive. She's going to shut down. She's going to feel shame. She's going to feel embarrassed. She's going to want to defend her position or tell you that you're wrong and here's why. So instead of doing that, focus on making her feel comfortable enough to be really honest about what she really likes. Open communication is the starting point for any improvement in your sex life. So tell her how much you value her pleasure and ask her if there's anything that the two of you can do to play in a different way so that she can experience more of it. You can tell her that you know that women feel a lot of pressure to orgasm every single time and that you would hate it if she felt like she couldn't be totally honest and authentically express herself with you. This will go a long way in eliminating one of her main concerns, which is to hurt your ego. She doesn't want to hurt your feelings. That's why she's faking it to begin with. And if she is faking it, then there's a chance that a part of the reason that she doesn't want to tell you is she doesn't want you to feel inadequate. Even though it may have absolutely nothing to do with your performance. So when you start from this place of like, I feel adequate enough to address this question with you, and I care a lot about your pleasure, I care about it more than my own ego, she's gonna feel like you're both working together towards a solution, and like you're not stepping into a place where there's gonna be hurt feelings. This is gonna create an environment where she's way more likely to open up and tell you the truth about what she needs. Number 2, create an environment where she never feels the need to fake it. At the end of the day, women fake orgasms when they feel like the real thing isn't an option, either because they have never had one, elusive for them in this moment, or maybe even in this season of life. Like she just got back to having sex after having a baby. She hasn't found her way back to orgasm just yet. Or she has a hard time orgasming in the morning, and so she doesn't always want to try really hard to orgasm in the morning because usually it evades her anyways. If you create an experience where she feels safe and feels turned on and feels truly connected to you, then she will never need to fake it again. And this kind of safety starts well outside of the bedroom. If she feels emotionally safe with you, she's going to carry that safety in when you're having sex, but sex can't be the only place where she feels safe with you. If she doesn't other places, she can't feel it in sex. She's also going to need to know that you are not going to judge her for what it takes to get her there. Look, some of us need some pretty wild things in order to reach orgasm. She may need to position her body in a way that is less than flattering. She may want you to do something that you've never done before, call her this or say that or fantasize about dragons or whatever. She might need to think about something sort of naughty, even if she's ashamed to say that thing out loud. And then there's the fact that the majority of women just straight up need clitoral stimulation to get over the edge, which is why there's also the option of bringing a vibrator into the bedroom with you while you continue to explore ways to get her there. And if your partner isn't orgasming regularly, or at least really, truly orgasming regularly, I highly recommend doing this. Showing her that you don't mind a little buzzing assistant to get her there means taking the lead on her pleasure. It is incredibly sexy. It sets the tone for her to be able to relax and know that you both are in a space where you're prioritizing her pleasure. Number 3, take the pressure off of orgasm. This is going to be kind of counterintuitive, but weirdly, sometimes letting go of the expectation to orgasm can help you get to orgasm. Orgasms are like cats that do not want to be caught. The more aggressive you go looking for them, the harder they become to find. As a cat owner, I can say that to be categorically true. Sometimes women fake it because they feel pressure to perform, and as a result, they don't actually get to relax enough to have an orgasm. It's a pretty nasty catch-22. Make it clear to your partner that for you, sex isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's all about enjoying the experience. And when she stops feeling pressure to perform, she's more likely to experience real pleasure. I should note also that this sometimes means that she's not going to have an orgasm. This is kind of dangerous for me to be discussing here because I don't want to increase the orgasm gap. The orgasm gap is the gap between heterosexual men's likelihood of experiencing orgasms with penetrative sex and heterosexual women's. And the truth is that that gap is the broadest of any category. Women who have sex with women, men who have sex with men, etc. Straight women and straight men having sex, women have way fewer orgasms on average than men. I like to think about it like this. What is the average across all of the sex that you're having? Is she usually having 2, 3, 4, even 5 orgasms when y'all are, in the circumstances and the context that work really well for her, and then every so often she's just not able to get there and you have an orgasm? So let's say you have sex twice per week. One time she comes 5 times, one time she comes 0 times, you come both times. To me, that's actually pretty decent switching of the orgasm gap. I would be willing to roll with that. I don't like the pressure that my body has to do this thing every single time because that just doesn't feel good. That makes sex feel very goal-oriented, and it takes away the things that we actually can control during sex, which is like closeness and pleasure, and it replaces that with something that we really cannot always control, which is orgasm. That brings me to number 4, experiment with different techniques. Slow down, take breaks, tease her, use your hands, use your mouth, go back and forth between them, try everything. The moral of the story is that the more you explore, the more likely that you are to find the things that work for her. And I've got hundreds of free videos on YouTube to guide you on this journey, but if you really want to master the art of giving her real mind-blowing orgasms every time, you need to check out my Legendary Lover course. This is where I teach you exactly how to read her body, unlock her deepest desires, and make her crave you in ways she didn't even know were possible. Inside, I break down my step-by-step system for taking her from seduction to climax all the way to aftercare. So you're never left guessing at what she wants. You will learn the exact techniques, the ones that I use, and they're going to make you the best she has ever had. And trust me, when a woman has that kind of sex that leaves her breathless and completely melted, she will not ever desire to fake an orgasm again. If you want to become the kind of lover she can't stop thinking about, check out Legendary Lover. Link is in the description below. And remember, if a woman is faking her orgasms, it is not an attack on you. Don't make it about yourself, but it is a sign that something needs to change. And if you're the kind of man who really wants to satisfy his partner, you are already on your way. Because sex isn't about putting on a show. It's about connection. It's about pleasure. And if you can create an environment where those things thrive, she will never have to fake it again. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for weekly no BS content that covers all things sex and relationships. I'm Keelan B. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you here next week.